Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. We are back 2 times a week, and you might be wondering why that's not, every day or 3 times a week. School's just been really busy, and it's finally the home stretch, but we do have to deal with finals. But I will say for the foreseeable future, we will be uploading every week, at least 2 to 3 times a week, okay? And especially once we get to June and summer really kicks off, posting becomes much more easier and consistent. Either way, we're going to talk about the weather. It has also been pretty quiet, to be honest. Now, there's still some headlines we have to go over, so we'll go over that and more in this video. Let's get right into it. So first, surface analysis pulled up 60 Tuesday. Good morning. It's actually 4:58 Eastern over here. Gotta get up nice and early. There's some things to talk about. So first we have this trough. Okay, it's a very big trough. Okay, clear cold front on the eastern side of it. More stationary, slight warm front up here. This is bringing very cold Arctic high pressure. Why do I call it Arctic? Because look at these temperatures, okay? It's very, very cold. 33, 41 at Philly, but it's 30s freezing once you get north of the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And it's very cold, okay? Lots of frost and freeze headlines out for these areas in the eastern states. For the north, another little cool blast right here, bringing some cooler temperatures. And then in the west, we have this trough as we have some surface lows off the coast, bring some unsettled weather. We're gonna watch as this trough kind of moves off. We get a little stationary front, could bring some warmth, a little bit of a rebound, but then we have more cold air on the back, which will lead to more unseasonably cool temperatures. So we'll talk about that in the video. So here are the headlines. As you can see, frost and freeze warnings all spread it in the eastern U.S. I'm actually kind of curious why they don't have it here. Or okay, well they're still used to the higher elevation, still used to the colder temperatures, so that makes sense. But yeah, frost advisories, freeze warnings everywhere. Okay, D.C., Baltimore, Philly, New York City, all on near south of Hartford, all the areas. That doesn't mean these areas aren't reaching freezing. They are. It's just their growing season hasn't started yet. But for the areas that has, there's also freeze warnings as temperatures are dipping really, really coldly here. At the home weather station, we're at 34.1, so definitely frigid out there for April, late April into May standards. We're going south, some red flag warnings to watch out for fire today, same over here in the west and central U.S. Some wind advisories as well as high wind warnings also paired with that further west, and some winter storm warnings and advisories as well as winter storm watches in higher elevations that are experiencing some more unsettled conditions, and some flood warnings up in the north central U.S. that remains after some rainfall we had in the past few days. So I kind of wanted to talk about the temperatures. Okay, here we are. Okay, because this is unseasonably cool. Here you are, and it bleeds down. You have teens and single digits up in Maine, so it's definitely very, very cold for this type of standard. But it should moderate pretty well. This is your warmer air through Tuesday. Depends how much we can kind of a backdoor cold front, cold air damping situation, not much though. Let's see how much we can warm up. Wednesday looks much better as we're able to get into 70s. Same with Thursday, okay? It does look like we moderate back, but then behind it we'll have to watch for another cold front. So here's your modeling. There goes your high, your 540 line moving north and east, so east-northeast moving out of here. There's our moderation period. But then you see this cold air, we're going to have to watch that, along with the system that could bring severe weather, creating our 2-day severe threat. We'll have to kind of watch as we get later into this week and possibly into the weekend. So let's kind of talk about that long-term pattern. So here's your cold air, okay, that moves out. Here's your moderation period, okay, through Wednesday and on. Looks like we get a nice moderation period, but then the weekend, there's some moderation, but there looks to be a little bit of blues. You can see kind of right here, it's a little shows some uncertainty, but it does look like we'll get a little cooler. Also denoted by these lines, these isobars, we have this kind of wedge up here, or wedge right here, okay, which means some cooler, unsettled weather is certainly possible. So we watch that little moderation, and there you go again. Cold blast. This is late next week, so a little uncertain, over 240 hours out, but then it stays there through the remainder into May. So we're gonna have to watch that in the first week of May. if we do get back to cooler normal temperatures. That doesn't mean freezing. It could, but I don't think it will. But it still means cooler, unseasonable weather. But we'll have to dig deeper into that as we get into next week and later this week. So last thing I want to talk about severe weather. Here's our day 4 risk. Okay, day 4. So that is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then we also have Saturday. Okay, that's further focus south. I'd say wind and hail, definitely some main threats. We'll have to watch for a tornado threat as well. So, hope you enjoyed this video. I try to make it nice and quick, keep it concise and everything you know right now. Not as active right now, but definitely seems like that'll change in the near future. Hope you guys have a great day today, and I'll see you guys on Thursday.